welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my birth story. I'm just going to be telling you guys kind of what happened during my pregnancy and what I did that saved my daughter's life, and how by doing this I feel can save people's lives, because I feel it is super important, and I think it's something that everybody should know and do. So if you guys are interested and want to know what I did and know a little bit about my pregnancy, then just keep watching. Okay, so it all started because I kind of had a feeling that I was pregnant, just because let me just tell you a little bit about myself first. So I am a juvenile diabetic, which means I take insulin, and I also have thyroid. So having both of these diseases together, you know, when something's off track, I usually know right away because I know my body. So I knew something was wrong. You know, my sugars for my diabetes were acting crazy. Once I kind of tried to maintain that and got my thyroid checked out and everything was fine, I just knew something else was wrong. So I took a few pregnancy tests, and a couple of them came out negative, and I still didn't believe it. I was like, I know I'm pregnant, I know I'm pregnant. So then I ended up buying another one, waiting a little bit longer, took the pregnancy test. What do you know? I was right, I was pregnant. So I found that out in February and went to the doctor, you know, did a sonogram, was pregnant. My doctor told me, because of my issues and because I'm diabetic and have thyroid, that I was gonna have to be seeing a specialist, you know, a neonatal specialist. So he told me it was gonna be rough, but I could do it. So, you know, he set me up with my specialist, went to see the specialist. This specialist was gonna help me maintain my blood sugars and my thyroid while I was pregnant to help baby. When I got there, they realized my sugars were pretty high, pretty crazy, so they told me this was going to be kind of like a weekly thing until we got everything figured out. So I was seeing my OB doctor monthly and my specialist weekly. So it was pretty crazy, but I'm a first-time mom and I was excited. I just knew this is what I had to do. So other than my issues being sick, my pregnancy was totally healthy. Everything was perfect, baby was perfect, everything was always the way it should be. So my weekly visits started to become every 2 weeks. It never went longer than that. It was always every 2 weeks that I was gonna have to see my doctor. And baby was always checked, so whether it just been a heartbeat or sonograms. Later on, as it got further along, it was sonograms always, but I'll get to that point. So my pregnancy was extremely rough. I was miserable a lot of the times. Once I started to be able to feel my baby, all that went away. I was like, you know what, I know why I'm doing this, it's okay. So I did take a lot of rest days, if you will. I used to go to the gym Monday through Friday. I lived at the gym. I was healthy, working out. But once I got pregnant, I couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't. So I stopped going. But I was fine. You know, every time I went to the doctor, everything was fine. We'll just go ahead and fast forward along until my 20-week scan. I went for my anatomy scan. This is when I was going to find out the gender of my baby. I was so excited. So my anatomy scan came out perfect. Everything was as it should be. And then we found out my gender. I didn't find out because my husband and I, we were having a gender reveal party. So just my sister had found out for us. So I think my gender reveal is already on here, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. So if you've probably seen that, then you know we had a baby girl. And her name is Mila. So then I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward along. About 28 weeks or so, they handed me a new sheet of paper, which every time I went to the doctor, when I would leave for the week, they would send me home with a sheet of paper where I had to write my blood sugars literally for seven times a day. So now they just added on a new paper, which was fetal kick counts, which I had no idea about. Nobody had ever told me this. My OB didn't tell me this. I'm like, what is kick counting and what is this all about? In my head, all I was thinking was, it's another paper that I have to fill out. Okay, so on this paper, you have to fill out daily. When your baby is most active, you would sit down for an hour and count their kicks. So you had, for that whole hour, you had to get 10 kick counts. It didn't matter, or movements. Kicks, movements, rolls, just not the hiccups. The hiccups did not count. So just like a kick, a roll, of arm movements, any kind of movement that you felt, as long as it wasn't hiccups. So you have 1 hour to do that. Your baby you can get like 2 kicks in a minute. You know, 20 minutes go by, you get 3 kicks. As long as you got 10 kicks within the hour, that's all that mattered. If you could not get the 10 kicks within an hour, you needed to go to the hospital as soon as possible. So here, I mean, I'm a super stress ball as it is, so having to do this was super stressful, but it is what literally saved my daughter's life, and now that's what I'm going to get into. So, you know, I hit the 28 weeks. My daughter was most active towards the evening time, so like 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening is when I would get her kick counts. And I mean, there was times she would do them in 5 minutes. There was times I would get the 10 kick counts, you know, in a minute, 2 minutes. That's how active she was in the evening. I could eat fruit, drink some juice, play music. She loved to hear music, and there were 2 songs that I could play for her that would literally get her going, you know. So everything was good. Everything was good. I hit 35 weeks, and I had just went to the doctor that Friday. My appointments were every Friday. So I had just went to the doctor that Friday. They told me everything was fine. She looked good. Everything looked good. Well, that Saturday morning, my husband and I were getting ready for her arrival. You know, we were getting the bassinet ready to be put in our room. I wanted it next to the bed so that I could get used to having it there, and cleaning up, you know, pretty much just nesting, getting ready for her. I noticed that she was most active, like I said, in the evening, but she would still move throughout the day. Every so often I would feel her, obviously, you know, she's in there. So it got to, I was like, I haven't really felt her move today. She's been pretty calm. You know, my husband was like, well, maybe she's sleeping. Now that they're bigger, they sleep a little more. They don't have that much room. You know, I'm sure everything's fine. So I would lie down, and when I would lay down, my stomach would kind of push up on one side. I was thinking this was my baby. I'm a first-time mom. I didn't know, so I was just thinking, oh, maybe this is her. But I could never get 10 counts. Never. It was never 10. I tried eating fruit. I tried drinking juice. I tried laying on my side, playing music. She was super calm. I just felt something wasn't right. So I told my husband, you know, I don't feel comfortable. I think we should just go to the hospital for my peace of mind, because I'm a super worrying freak, and I needed peace of mind. So we went to the hospital. They call me, and I tell them, you know, I'm not feeling my baby move that much. So they bring me in pretty quickly, check the heart rate. Her heart rate was perfect, what it always is, about 150, 154 beats. That was perfect. So here I am thinking, oh, okay, well, her heart rate's great, everything's fine, they're gonna send me home. So they had me go wait in the waiting room, call me back. We end up doing a sonogram. They tell me that my baby wasn't moving. Then I was getting, again, the lifting of my stomach where I thought it was her. So I told the sonogram tech, oh, she just moved. And well, she tells me, no, that's actually a contraction. I'm a first-time mom. I had no idea that's what that was. It didn't hurt. It was just uncomfortable. I just thought, well, she's bigger now, so that's just her movements. So they do a sonogram on me for 30 minutes to see her movement. She wasn't moving. She would move here, there, kind of softly. I wasn't feeling it. So she leaves, and then the ER doctor comes in and he tells me your fluid level is extremely low. He said, have you been leaking? I wasn't leaking. They told me if I was leaking, I'd know it. I wasn't. So he tells me, we're gonna go ahead and admit you until you have your baby. So I'm freaking out. I'm 35 weeks and 2 days. 35 weeks and 2 days. And I'm like, how are they gonna keep me? My doctor had planned to induce me at 38 weeks because of my illnesses. So I was still thinking from 35 weeks to 38 weeks, that's a long time. I was just kind of worried. That's what's going on. They tell me we're gonna keep you overnight. You know, we're gonna go ahead and hook you up to the monitors, monitor baby, monitor you for the night. Okay, so they take me into a labor and delivery room, set me up, get me comfortable. You know, as time started going on, I was getting contractions. These started to be more painful, but nothing I couldn't handle. It was just uncomfortable. Throughout the whole night, they kept coming in to check me. Baby's heart rate was fine. Towards the middle of the night, they had to come in and give me oxygen, which they told me wasn't for me, was for my daughter. And I wasn't too concerned because I didn't know. I mean, like I said, I'm a first-time mom, so I just thought, okay, well, these things are fine. Well, the next morning, they tell me my baby's heart rate had been dropping throughout the night. And then her oxygen was pretty low. So I'm thinking, that's probably not good, right? So then they take me now into another room where I'm gonna stay until I deliver my baby. They have a sonogram tech coming in to give me another sonogram that they were gonna monitor baby for another 30 minutes. So they hooked me up. As soon as they hooked me up, you know, her heart rate was still really strong, but she just was not moving at all. They were giving me fluids and seeing if that was gonna get her moving, but it wasn't. So she leaves. Nurse comes back in and is like, well, we're gonna have to induce you today. And I'm like, what? You know, I'm 35 weeks. And so she leaves the room, kind of tells me we're gonna be induced. So I'm thinking, okay, I have time to process this, you know. So she leaves. Next thing I know, a team of nurses come running into my room. I'm not even exaggerating this. They come running into my room, tell me there's a problem. We are gonna do an emergency C-section. We need to take the baby out. Stat, she needs to be out in 30 minutes. What? Like, what? That's all I could think of is like, is she okay? I'm 35 weeks. Is she gonna be fine? You know, I didn't even have time to process this, because as they're telling me this, they were taking my jewelry off. As they're telling me, taking all my jewelry off, dressing my husband in, you know, the outfit things he has to wear to go in the OR. And then they tell me, we have to put a catheter in you. Normally we wait till you're under, but we don't have time. So they shove a catheter inside of me, which I don't even remember because I was in such a panic mode in this moment that everything ended up being such a blur. So they do all this, get me ready, take me in so I can get my spinal tap, which, by the way, my doctor anesthesiologist was amazing. I didn't feel it. It didn't hurt one bit. My husband couldn't be in there at this time because of like sterile reasons. He wasn't allowed in the room until after my spinal tap was done. So they laid me on the table. My husband had not come in yet. By this point, I'm already numb. And my anesthesiologist looks over and tells me, oh, you're already cut. and me being the panicky person I am, start yelling like, where's my husband, where's my husband? As I'm screaming this, my husband comes in the room, sits with me, holds my hand. All I just feel is pressure, and in my head I'm thinking, you're fine, you know, don't panic, try to stay as calm as possible, you know, we need to get her out. Then next thing you know, they take her out. They don't show her to me. All I've ever known of is like videos where, you know, they kind of lean the baby over and show you real quick what your baby looks like. They didn't do that to me. My baby wasn't crying, and my husband kind of let go of my hand and walked over to see what was going on. So I'm in a panic mode and I'm just yelling, is she okay? Is she okay? Why isn't she screaming? Why isn't she screaming? Is she okay? Nobody would answer me. I felt like it was the longest silence and chaos of my life, where I'm just like, is my baby okay? I'm yelling, I'm yanking on my husband, is she okay? Is she okay? Nobody would answer me. The next thing I knew, she started crying. I'm not gonna get emotional. She started crying, and that was music to my ears. Then the next thing is, they bring her over to me and they show me her, and she's perfect. She's beautiful and she's a perfect baby. I was already so in love. So they just showed me her for a couple minutes. I did not get to do skin on skin. They had to take her up to the NICU right away. She was breathing on her own. She was, you know, very strong, but because of my diabetes, her sugars were really low, so she had to be up and taken care of while they worked on me still. I tell my husband. So then the next thing I know, I'm in recovery and waiting until I can go see my baby. But what I felt is so important to know is the kit counts. I cannot stress enough how important kit counting is. Once you hit about 28 weeks, count your baby's kicks, and if you don't get 10 within 1 hour, you need to go to the hospital, because that literally saved my daughter's life. If I would not have gone, I don't know where we'd be in the situation. I don't even want to think about it. But what I'm saying is, I feel regular OB doctors don't tell you this. Mine didn't tell me. It was just because I went to a specialist that I saw weekly and had to fill out a paper weekly every time I went in of her kit counts daily. I mean daily. I had to count her kicks and turn that paper in weekly for that whole week, day by day by day. And because of that, that saved her life. And like I said, I don't feel enough people know this, because regular OB doctors do not tell you this. I mean, you only see them once a month, where I had to see my specialist weekly and every 2 weeks. Okay, like, so often I had to see them, and this is why I knew about kit counting. And I cannot stress enough that your instincts are always right. Just go with them, you know. Even I didn't want to be a nag. I didn't always want to be at the hospital, you know, because, oh, I feel like this is wrong, I feel like this is wrong, or I'm not sure. I was a first-time mom. I didn't know. So if I felt something, I just went to the hospital. I didn't care what anybody thought. I didn't care, like, if they were like, oh man, this girl's always here, she's fine, this is ridiculous. No, because look, at the end of the day, it saved my baby's life. My daughter is here because I did kit counts, and because it's super, super important. And I feel like whether you do see a specialist or you don't, you should know this, because it can save a child's life. And I think it's so, so important, because I never knew about this. My sister never had to do it. Any family members around me who had children never talked about this. I never knew about this. So when they told me about it, I was like, why? I don't understand. But now, I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna have another child or not. I have yet to decide this, because I feel like my pregnancy and birth were so traumatizing. But I just feel like it's super, super important and can save a lot of people's lives, and it's super, super serious. And you know, it shouldn't be a burden or something you don't want to do, you know what I mean, because it can truly, truly save a life. And that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to come on here and let you guys know and talk about my story, because I have never watched a video of anybody talking about this. Like I said, I had never heard about it until I had to do it. And whether your doctor tells you to do it or not, it's something you should do for yourself and for your baby, because I can't stress enough how grateful and thankful I am, because it saved my baby's life. And I don't know where we would be today had I not known that. So like I said, that was the main reason why I wanted to talk about this. My baby, she, like I said, had to spend some time in the NICU. I was released after 4 days in the hospital, but my baby had to stay an extra 12 days because of her blood sugars, and because she was so early. She was still trying to figure out how to eat, how to be in the real world. Hardest thing of my life, again, hardest thing of my life was having a baby and not being able to bring her home when I came home. But she came home, and that's why I feel like I cannot stress enough the kid counts and how super important it is. So it took me a long time to record this video, just because I'm a first-time mom. Things are hectic. I'm still learning. My daughter is 8 months today, and she's beautiful. She's growing, she's thriving, she's happy, she's healthy, and she's the best thing I could ever ask for in life. So yeah, I hope that my story and everything that I had to do can help you, can help somebody, because like I said, this is never anything I've heard of, and I think it needs to be known. So yeah, that's my story. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys will subscribe, because now that she's a little older, I plan to continue to do more videos, include her, include my husband, keep up makeup tutorials, a little bit of everything on here. So if you guys want to see that, then just subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.